Jon Stewart is returning to The Daily Show. I barely remember when Jon Stewart took over The Daily Show. I just mentioned watching South Park as a kid in the 90s. In the 90s, Comedy Central was a very small TV channel, and South Park was this juggernaut that really made it a big deal. And there was another show that was pretty big for Comedy Central standards, not compared to South Park, but by the standards of this cable network, which was The Daily Show. And it was hosted by Craig Kilborn, and it was a funny show. And then Jon Stewart took it over in 99 or something. And he made it a big deal. Not really among viewers, but among the media. The ratings were always relatively low for The Daily Show, but the right kind of people watched it. People who were working in the media would watch it. And so he got way outsized press coverage. He had a way bigger influence on politics. It became a real cultural phenomenon. I watched that show a bunch when I was a kid. He's a very funny comedian, Jon Stewart. And then he created all these spin-offs, the Stephen Colbert Show and John Oliver and all these other people. And it had a lot of influence. And then the moment Jon Stewart left that show, it completely went to pot. No one really talked about it anymore. They gave the show to Trevor Noah. He was a total flop in that position. Now, I don't even know who the host is. I think they just have a rotating cycle of hosts. And now he's back. He's coming back as an executive producer of the show, and he's going to host the show one night a week. Why do I care? Again, not even that many people watched it back when it was a big popular show. The significance of this story is that it reminds us the Democrats have nothing new. The Democrats have nothing exciting to look forward to. The Democrats, the liberals broadly, peaked in the late 2000s. That was peak popular lib Democrat American politics. End of Bush, everyone's angry at Bush. Obama's coming up. He's a good-looking guy, and he's the first black president, and he gives speeches that impress some people, not me, but some people, and yeah, wow, hope and change, and none of that worked out. And Obama said he wanted to fundamentally transform America because obviously he hates America. You don't want to fundamentally transform something that you love. So he succeeded largely in doing that. And since then, it's all been on the decline. Since then, you had Obama's economy was still terrible. He divided the country. He did win re-election, but then just after Trump, you had a huge reaction, or just after Obama, you had a huge reaction against him in the form of Donald Trump. The left has not recovered. How could they? What's their new idea? We're going to flood the country with more illegals. What's the new idea? We're going to oppose war. What are you talking about? Barack Obama bombed more countries than George Bush did. The world order got much shakier under Obama than it did even under Bush. Well, we're going to stop, just subsidizing the rich. What are you talking about? Democrats are the party of the rich, and Republicans are the party of deplorables and irredeemables and bitter, clinging white trash that you all absolutely condemn and have nothing but disdain for. Well, yeah, okay, that's true. Well, we're the what? We're the what? You got nothing. You got nothing, guys. And so the best they can do is drag this poor man out of retirement and put him back in the Daily Show chair and try to recapture the magic. Magic's gone, baby. So because they're not going to get that spark back, the only thing the Democrats can do is tighten their grip on power. When you have a popular political movement and you have cohesion and you have a clear vision, you can afford a looser grip on power because people just all kind of know what they're doing and they just naturally do it and they go in the right direction and they vote for the candidates you want them to vote for and they support the policies you want them to support. When the ruling class and the people are at odds with one another and increasingly at odds, then the ruling class has to tighten that grip on power. They have to erect all sorts of fences around the Capitol and around the White House. And meanwhile, they're tearing down the fences at the southern border, which is part of the reason that people hate the leaders in charge. Or at the very least, are very frustrated with them. You got to start arresting Midwestern grannies for taking selfies on January 6th, the worst day ever. You got to start throwing the leader of the opposition into prison. You got to start prosecuting him. You got to start sending federal troops down to the border to stop states from exercising their constitutional right to protect themselves. You got to really tighten that grip on power. And we're in January of 2024. Okay, we're in January and there are 4 prosecutions against the leader of the opposition, and Joe Biden is contemplating sending the army in to physically remove the Texas National Guard and open up a pathway for foreigners to invade. What day is it? It's January 25th. We got 10 more months of this before the election, and we've got 11 more months in the year. There is no sign that any of this is going to loosen up. We had our first constitutional crisis before the war began, the prosecutions. We had our second constitutional crisis in the first month of the year. Can you imagine what the next months hold? Democrats say that it is us, not the people sending in the troops to open the border to flood the country with foreigners. No, it is us, we conservatives who want to defend even the basic rule of law. We are the threat to democracy.
When Trump said this is not typical, he is exactly right. This is not a typical election. And there's a massive effort to normalize this. You see the New York Times column say, well, the Trump people have a case. You see the head of J.P. Morgan Chase, the largest bank in the United States, saying, well, they're right about some things. You see reporters with Jason Miller in the Fort Des Moines Hotel. Reminds me of a bunch of German reporters in some Munich bar in 1935 saying, hey, Goring, he was an entertaining guy. I tell you what, he had some great stories. Nothing is normal about this at all. And you watched his speech last night, it was completely unhinged. And what I am obsessed with is stop treating him like he is a normal candidate, that this is some kind of Bob Dole, Mitt Romney. This is really not.
Stop treating Trump like he's normal. 3 big points in Carville's rant here. And James Carville is a major figure among the Democrat political class. First point, Trump's a Nazi. Could you imagine at a bar in Munich with the Nazis? It's just like that. He's a Nazi. Wow, really brilliant. You're making me see Donald Trump in a whole new and interesting light. Wow, what brilliant commentary, James Carville. Good grief. That one, you can dismiss that. Second one, we got to stop treating Trump like he's normal. He's not normal. We got to stop treating him like he's normal. The man was the president of the United States. Already. He's already been the president. He's normalized. He's normal. The man has been a major American public figure for over 40 years. The man endorsed Mitt Romney, that candidate who you suddenly have a strange new respect for. And that was a big to-do when he did that in 2012. And he was already the president. He's normal. If he's not normal, then what is? These are the people who say that chopping off the genitals of a little child, that's perfectly normal. But the man who was already president, the somewhat slightly more right-wing Republican, but basically just a Republican, that's totally abnormal. But he gives away the game, because what does he say there at the end? He said, he's not a normal Republican like Mitt Romney and Bob Dole. What do Mitt Romney and Bob Dole have in common that distinguishes them from Donald Trump? They lost. Look, I like Bob Dole, but that's it. That's what they mean. When the Democrats promote normal Republicans, they promote people who lose. Because in the normal operation of events, in Democrats' minds, Republicans are supposed to lose because they're wrong. They're supposed to present a facade of opposition, a simulacrum of real opposition and political choice. But then when push comes to shove, at the crucial moment, they're supposed to lose. John McCain, at the crucial moment, he's supposed to vote to support Obamacare. At the crucial moment, they're supposed to just cave and defend. Liz Cheney, she might vote with Trump a lot of the time, but at the crucial moment, when political power is really in play, she's got to side with Nancy Pelosi. That's normal. Mitt Romney, nominate him, and he's going to go talk about cutting taxes, and then the Democrats are all going to call him a Nazi, and then he's going to lose, and then they'll like him again. That's what's supposed to be normal. What's abnormal about Trump is that he won when he wasn't supposed to. And he won with a group of voters who were not supposed to be empowered, the deplorable irredeemables. And he won on an issue that you are absolutely never supposed to talk about. That is the mass migration. Now let's call it, like Abbott does, an invasion of foreigners into this country to give Democrats and liberals permanent political power. You are under no circumstances allowed to criticize that. That's the big threat to our democracy, suggesting that we, the American people, ought to still have a say on how our government is run. Huge, unacceptable threat to our democracy. Man, what a great clip that was. Now, hold up. Ring that bell. Subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.